This is the PC Expert Amateur, and today I'm looking at the Akasa Vegas R7 RGB LED cooling fan. Now, this one's a little bit different because it is RGB, whereas most of the fans that I find these days are ARGB. Doesn't really matter to me which one it is. I'm not interested in LEDs particularly. I mean, they look nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm using my computer to look at my monitor, not at the lights in my case. And besides, LEDs, at best, don't do anything for performance, and at worst, decrease performance. So, pardon my cold. This is what I'm comparing it to, of course, the Noctua A12 NF-A12 by 25, and this is the Akasa. And the model is the Vegas R7. Technically, however, there are two other model numbers. There is the AK-FN098 and the DFS122512L. I'm not sure why there are two different model numbers, but at least the first one is easier to remember. Three technically with the Vegas R7. That's the easiest one to remember. So it's got a nice holographic sticker on the one side. I like that. It's a nice touch, although it doesn't make a difference in the end. And there we go. So we can see very different design as far as the frame is concerned. I do have some concerns over this particular type of design because of the air gaps here that may possibly, depending on what you're mounting it on, may impact how well it performs. So, yeah. But setting that aside, we can see that this is on one side is black and the other side has black anti-vibration cushions and translucent white because of the lighting. And this is a 3-pin fan, not a PWM fan. So what we'll do here is we'll start by hopefully getting it to light up. And that's the challenge. Oh, by the way, this fan comes with screws, of course. It also comes with an adapter to go from 3-pin to Molex D, the 4-pin variety out of all, the standard one that's been around since I was a young man. So I'm going to see if I can't get the RGB to cooperate with me, and we'll go from there. Okay, that's a no on the RGB lighting. I don't know what's going on. For some reason, it's not cooperating. I've used it before with the lights on, and it's been fine. So I don't know. Maybe I fried it. I'm not really sure what happened. But I am kind of frustrated about it because I wanted to show you what it looks like. It's not amazing, but, it's RGB, but it's okay. I guess we'll just move on from here and just look at how these fans perform in terms of their noise levels. And I'm going to tell you right now that the Noctua seems to be underrated as far as its volume is concerned. The decibels I'm hearing compared to all the other fans so far are way louder than what they're claiming they are. Or all the other fans are wrong. I don't know. But in any event, I've noticed a definite discrepancy and this is most likely not due to Noctua fibbing. It's more likely due to variances in how each company tests their fans. Like, do they test with it pointed toward the meter, away from the meter, perpendicular? Sorry. So it's not blowing toward or away, kind of perpendicular to the meter. So if this is the meter and the fan's blowing this way, that's perpendicular. And there's no way for me to know. They don't, a lot of companies don't tell you any of the information about how they do their testing. So it is what it is. So we'll just start out with the Akasa. And I'm going to have it blowing away from me because I've got a bit of a cold. And Here we go. So quiet. Now this fan only gets up to 1500 RPMs, but it is a very quiet fan. I hear a noise aside from the movement of the air. It's very low, a little bit ticky. Probably because they're using a cheap fluid dynamic bearing. Okay, that's maximum RPMs right there. Not very loud, is it? Definitely not the stated 23.8 in my opinion. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my Noctua and we'll see how it compares to the Noctua. I'll tell you right now the Noctua is a lot louder, but you'll see. And now the challenge is, of course, holding two fans without hurting myself or dropping a fan so that you can hear. And you should very soon hear that the Noctua is drowning out the Akasa. There. I can already hear it louder than the Akasa. It's much more high-pitched. That's maximum RPMs. And as you can tell, you can barely hear the low-pitched hum of the Akasa versus the high-pitched hum of this. And that's just very simply that our ears, for whatever reason, have an easier time understanding or hearing higher pitches than lower ones. But it's definitely different. So I'm going to start throttling the Akasa so you can hear. Now I can't really hear the Akasa anymore. And it's getting ready to go off. There we go. So, yeah, you can tell for yourself that the Akasa is significantly quieter than the Noctua. And it's not just because it's 1500 versus 2000 RPMs. It literally is a quieter fan. Why that is, I will leave that speculation to people who understand this stuff far more than I do, like engineers and fluid dynamic experts. But that is what we've learned, right? That if you, and actually the Akasa, for what it does, is actually a pretty decent fan. Even though mine, I have a problem with the RGB. I don't know if it's settings in my computer, you know. I tell you what, there are too many settings that conflict with each other. Like earlier I was working on my microphone, getting it set up, and you know, different things are conflicting with each other, and I finally got it working, but it's just stupid how many different things you sometimes have to look at to get something to work. So it could be a settings problem. It could be that the RGB port is fried. It could be that this is fried. You know, I'm not going to cry over it. I will be sad for you guys because you don't get to see it, and then I'll have to find a hub with RGB support so that you can at least see that. So at the maximum speed that it's at, it does a pretty good job. It just doesn't match up, you know, when it gets at any point beyond that. But it is a very quiet fan. So if you're looking for a quiet fan that has, it's okay power. You wouldn't want to use it really on a heatsink with very narrow fin gapping. Or definitely not on a radiator, but for exhaust, and depending on what the filters are on the intake, yeah. And again, I'm sorry about the lights. So let's carry on to the statistical comparison between the two fans. But before I do that, please like, subscribe, and share if you don't mind. I'd like to grow this channel so that I can get an income, so that I can invest more money into getting more testing equipment, as well as more fans and coolers and thermal paste and so on. So if you can help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. Also, I will be making the statistical information that I'm sharing in each video eventually available to the people who sign up to become members once this does become a monetized channel. But until such time as it's monetized, I have no way, no effective way, I guess I should say. I can, but there's no effective way to do that without putting a link in every single one of my videos. So let's carry on to the next sections, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look at this, and you can see the statistics from the previous fans that I've reviewed. Some of them are very stingy about what they reveal to the public. Some of them just don't have a public-facing website like the NeedMax. But we're focusing here again on the Noctua and how the Akasa compares to it. So again, this is the Vegas R7 or AKFN098 or DFS 122512L. That's a mouthful. And the frame is black and transparent white, and the blades are transparent white. The price is $20, and I think that for what they have to offer with this fan, that it's a little bit high priced. They have certification for CE and ROHS. This is a product of China. The dimensions are 120, 120, and 25 millimeters. It has a MTBF of 40,000 hours, 2-year warranty, RGB LEDs, unless you have problems like I did. 130 grams in weight, 7 blades, the standard mounting hole positioning, 1,500 maximum RPMs, 35.2 CFM airflow, and 1.04 mm aqua for static pressure. Millimeters of water is another way of saying it, for those who don't know. Decibels, 23.8. I think that's probably overstating the level of noise that I was hearing, but you know, it's all very perceptual. You know, what you hear and what I hear are often different, and what bothers us and doesn't bother us is also often different. The power cord is 51.75 centimeters. There's no daisy chaining. The RGB cord is 50.5 centimeters, and there's no daisy chaining. It's a 3-pin power cord and a standard RGB cord, and it has a fluid dynamic bearing. It's rated at 12 volts. No watts are given, and if you want to do the math, you're welcome to do so. I'll get around to it eventually. 0.12 amps is what it's rated for. And then the RGB is also, not surprisingly, well, I guess it depends on your understanding of fans, 12 volts, and the amperage is 0.33, so that's a total of 0.45. Now, if we go backwards a minute here and look at the Noctua, well, the Noctua has much better airflow, more than about 3 times better, and more than double static pressure. And I would say the rating for the sound is completely wrong, because it's much louder, and RPMs are 500 more, give or take. And it has the amazing SSO2 bearings, which have far less friction than the Akasa's. And as far as power consumption is concerned, the Noctua is a bit less consumptive for both the fan. Well, for the fan, obviously it doesn't have any lights. It has the Akasa Vegas R7 has no indicators for rotation and flow, but it is a clockwise rotation. It comes with 4 screws, no radiator screws, no rubber pins, no rubber gasket. I don't know why I put that there. It also comes with corner cushions, no hole cushions, no low noise adapter, no speed switch, no splitter. It does have I don't know why I marked it as no. It has 2 extensions. It has an RGB extension, and which is very, very short, just maybe 2 centimeters, I think it is. And then I think it has another one. Hold on, let me just consult the box here real quickly. Oh, there's also a short 3-pin to Molex D, and they don't have swappable corners on this. Of course, most fans don't. It is, quite honestly, an unnecessary feature, except for specific needs. And most people don't need it. All right, so that is all there is to the comparison that I can give you today. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.